Good morning, students. In last class, we have discussed that is an echinodermata. So, next coming to the next phylum, that is a phylum Hemichordates. That is a phylum Hemichordates. So here the hemichordates, here hemi means half, chordates means having a notochord. If the organism containing half of the body will consist of the notochord. Notochord means here the vertebral column, half of the body will consist of the vertebral column is presenting. So, if it is half of the body consists of a vertebral column and half of the body will consist of an invertebrates, that is having a narrow flexus or a narrow ganglions which are presenting. So, we will having a both type of characters, that is non-chordates as well as chordates, or vertebrates or an invertebrates characters are presenting. Due to the presence of these, we can call them as a hemichordates. That means we are having half of the body will consist of a notochord is presenting. Due to the presence of the notochord for the half of the body, we can call them as a hemichordates. And here the hemichordates will shows a pre-chordate characters also. That means here will consist of the pre-vertebrates, pre-chordates or pre-chordates characters, pre-chordates, that is the presence of the notochord, presence of the notochord, presence of notochord, narrow chord, and also the gills or gill slits. So these are the where will consist of the organisms. That means will having the presence of a pre-chordate characters are presenting. That pre-chordate characters are presence of the notochord and narrow chord as well as a gill slits are presenting. So these we can call these will having these organism will having a pre-chordate characters are presenting. And also will having an invertebrate characters. Invertebrate character means here the narrow fluxes are presenting. So due to the presence of a narrow fluxes or the narrow ganglions, we can choose that as the invertebrate characters. So here the name justify the name as hemi means half. Chordates means having half of the body will consist of a notochord and half of the body will consist of a narrow fluxus are presenting. So these organisms are called as justify the name as hemichordates. Here will half of the body consist of notochord, and remaining half will consist of the narrow fluxus or ganglions. So we can call them as the justify. So they justify the name. So justify the name the hemichordates. Justify the name hemichordates. Now coming to the characteristics, these are first one. These are These are tuberculous and living in tuberculous and living in burrows, and are present, all are exclusively marine forms, exclusively marine forms, and present in coastal waters, present in coastal water forms. So these are the tuberculous having a tube-like structures are presenting, and also they living in burrows. They are present in burrows, deep layers of soils in the deep seas. These are presenting, and also exclusively these are all are marine forms only. No other fresh water forms, and also these are present in coastal water forms. Now coming to the grade of an organization. A grade of an organization. Grade of organization. So here which grade of organization is taken place means here organ system grade of a grade of organization. Organ system, a grade of organization is presenting, that is all organs are combined to form organ system, and organ system will perform the specific functions in the body of an organism, so that we can call them as the organ system, a grade of an organization. Next, coming to the symmetry. Here symmetry, now we will discuss that one. Now coming to the body symmetry. Body symmetry. So here body symmetry will show a bilateral symmetry. A bilateral symmetry. It shows here a bilateral symmetry will show where when you cut the organism in only one vertical plane, when you cut the organism in only one vertical plane, we are able to producing two identical, the hulls are produces, then such type of the symmetry we can call as a bilateral. Bi means two, lateral, that means in only one vertical plane, if you are cutting the organism, we are able to producing two identical, the hulls are produces. So we can call that as a bilateral symmetrical organisms. And here coming to the next one, the body form. The body form. So here body form, what is the body form? It means here body is a soft, body is a soft and unsegmented vermiformed and divided into the body is divided into three regions, It is divided into three regions. One is the unpaid proboscis, collar, paid collar and trunk. Here having the paid collar and a trunk The trunk is divided into, the trunk is Trunk is divided into bronchial, next hepatic, and also the genital regions, and also a genital region. That means the trunk is divided into 3 regions. The 3 regions are one we can call as bronchial. Bronchial means gill slits are presenting. So where the gill slits are presenting, we can call them as the bronchial. Hepatic means here liver producing, we can call as hepatic. And the genital, that means here reproductive organs where they are presenting, such region we can call as the genital regions. So here the body is divided into 3 regions. This is called as a proboscis, and this is called as a trunk, and this is called as a tail. So here it is the body is divided into 3 regions. So this is called as the proboscis, and this is called as a collar, and this is called as a trunk. So here again the trunk will be having the different regions are presenting. This region we can call as a bronchial, and middle part we can call as the genital, and also here it shows the hepatic. Here hepatic region. So here it is divided into different regions. So here a proboscis, the body is divided. The body is soft and it is unsegmented. It is not divided into a segmented, and also here it is vermiformed. Here it is divided into 3 regions: proboscis, a collar, and a trunk. Again the trunk is divided into 3 regions. One is called as a bronchial, and second one is called as genital, and the third one is called as the hepatic regions. Next, coming to the body wall. So here body wall will show that these are a triploblastic organisms. That means we'll having 3 germ layers are presenting. So that 3 germ layers, if you see, this is a body. Here the outer one is called as ectoderm, and a middle one is called as an mesoderm, and inner region is called as the mesoderm, and inner regions is called as an endoderm. So here if the organism will consist of 3 germ layers are presenting: outer ectoderm, a middle mesoderm, and inner an endoderm, then such type of organisms are called as a triploblastic organisms. And here it is divided. That's coming to the body cavity. Here a body cavity will shows that these are eucoelomates. So here eucoelomates means having a true body cavity. For example, if it is taken place a body cavity. So here this is an body wall, and this is elementary canal. So here in between we'll having a true body cavity is presenting. So here we can call that as so here this is called as a body cavity. So here the organisms which consist of a body cavity, that means a true cavity is presenting between the body wall and an alimentary canal. So we can call them as eucoelomates. And also here the coelomates is having three types, that means here that is in hemichordates. The eucoelomates is differentiated into three regions. One is called as unpaid proboscis coelom, and a paid collar coelom, and a paid trunk coelom. It is divided into three regions. The coelom is divided into the coelom, coelome. Coelom is restricted. Coelom is restricted for three regions. Such as one is unpaid proboscis coelom, and the second one is a paid a collar and a trunk. Collar and a paid collar and trunk coelom. A trunk coelom. So these are the three regions where that is we can call as a proboscis coelom, where it is presenting is restricted to the that is in proboscis. The coelom is present in restricted to the proboscis, so we can call as unpaid proboscis coelom, and it is restricted to the collar, so we can call as a paid collar coelom, and it is restricted to the trunk, paid trunk coelom. So here these are the coelom is, that means a true cavity is differentiated into three regions. One is unpaid proboscis coelom, a paid collar coelom, as well as a paid trunk coeloms. Next, coming to the that is a digestive system. Next, coming to the digestive system. Digestive system. So here a digestive system is a complete digestive system. A complete digestive system is presenting a complete digestive system. Complete digestive system consists of the mouth and anus. The mouth and anus. So here we are having a two opening. A complete digestive system means it consists of two openings are presenting. One opening is called as the mouth, and another opening is called as the anus. So here food is taken place through the mouth, and the ejection of waste materials, that means elimination of waste materials, are taken place through the anus. And also here it consists of a buccal, that means the proboscis will having an extension region is presenting. So that extension region we can call as a buccal diverticulum, or we can call as a stomochord. This stomochord is the presence of that means stomochord which is presenting, it represents in the notochord presence in the past organism. That means the notochord is present in a past. This stomochord which is presenting, it may be acts as it gives the structure, neither giving a structure of the or structure, nor it giving supporting for the supporting functioning of a notochord. So here we'll having in the proboscis will having an extension region. We can call as the oral extension region. So we can call that as a buccal diverticulum. That means the oral cavity which is presenting will having the mouth which is consist in the proboscis will having an extension region that is called as a buccal diverticulum. That means the oral, the proboscis the proboscis present in oral cavity, present in oral has an extension called buccal diverticulum, called as buccal diverticulum, or otherwise we can call them as the stomacord. We can call them as the stomacord. So this presence of, that means stomach in the stomacord is the presence of notochord in a past. That means it is due to the presence of notochord, it having a extension of region is presenting that extension region we can call as a buccal, a diverticulum, or that is stomacord. The stomacord may be present. The stomacord may be giving supporting, may be neither giving structure nor giving neither structure nor supporting function, a function of a notochord. Functioning of a notochord. Next, coming to the respiratory system. A respiratory system. Here we will having a numerous pharyngeal, we will having numerous gills are presenting. In this in hemichordates. Hemichordates consist of numerous gills are taken, respiration taken place. Numerous gills are respiration taken place to general body surface. Respiration taken place through a general body surface by diffusion. That means we will having the respiration in hemichordates may consist of numerous gills. That means it is taken place, respiration is taken place through the gills, or otherwise gills are absenting, means it is taken place by the through general body surface, the respiration will be taken place. Next, coming to the a circulatory system. Circulatory system. So here the circulatory system, here it is a open type of a circulatory system. The open type of a circulatory system. The open type of a circulatory system is presenting where here are the blood, directly the blood is passes to the sinuses, and also it consists of two longitudinal vessels are presenting. The vessels are presenting. These two longitudinal vessels are connected by lateral vessels are sinuses, and here the extension of these that is two longitudinal, one is dorsal and ventral. So that dorsal which is presenting that passes through the proboscis where it forms into an heart region, it forms into an heart in the proboscis. And here the closed type of circulatory system is an absenting and it shows here the closed type, it is shows only an open type of a circulatory system, and blood is a colorless is presenting. So here we are having the open type of a circulatory system is presenting and consists of two longitudinal the vessels are presenting. One is called as dorsal vessels and second one is the ventral vessels. What are that? Now we will be discuss. So here we are having the open type of a circulatory system and having two main longitudinal canal, two main longitudinal vessels, two main longitudinal vessels where they are a dorsal and the ventral longitudinal vessels, dorsal and ventral longitudinal vessels interconnected by lateral vessels and are sinuses. Lateral vessels are the sinuses. The dorsal vessel extended. Dorsal vessel is extended into proboscis to form the base of the heart. So heart is a dorsal. What is dorsal? The blood is colorless. Blood is a colorless. So here the extension part, that is dorsal vessel is extended into proboscis to form a base of the heart. That means it forms the heart region. The heart is formation is taken place in a proboscis and the heart is in a dorsal. And here blood vessels are a color. That means the blood which is presenting, it is a colorless. Next, an excretory system. So here will consist of an excretory system. Here it consists of a pair of a proboscis gland is presenting the proboscis, a pair of proboscis gland called as glomerulus. Glomerulus called as the glomerulus. From the proboscis pore, proboscis pore is eliminated. The elimination of the waste materials. The elimination of waste materials is taken place through the proboscis pore. Elimination of waste materials is taken place through the proboscis pore. Through the proboscis pore. That means here you are having a pair of a proboscis gland. That proboscis gland is called as a glomerulus. Is called as the glomerulus. So with the help of glomerulus, here excretion organs are glomerulus, and here it is taken place through the proboscis pore. The ingestion of the waste materials are taken place. Next, coming to the nervous system. Nervous system. So here nervous system means it consists of both non-chordates and chordates characters. Chordates, that is chordates are presence of dorsal nerve cord, presence of a dorsal nerve cord present, extended up to nerve cord extended up to a collar. That means the notochord is presenting, dorsal nerve cord is presenting up to collar, while having the dorsal nerve cord is presenting the presence in the chordates. In non-chordates will have epidermal the fluxus, that is having epidermal fluxus of the nerves and nerve cords, the network of nerves and the network of the nerves. So we will having a group of ganglions and nerves are presenting, and a network of nerves or narrow ganglions are presenting, that will represent the epidermal fluxus of nerves, and now the network of nerves are presenting. We will having the network of the nerves. So this is the type we will having the both type. One is chordates as well as non-chordates. The presence of notochord will be presenting in the form of a narrow cord dorsal, and narrow cord is presenting. So here it is the presence of a chordate character up to a collar region, and remaining part will having a narrow fluxus, epidermal narrow fluxus, where having a group of ganglions and nerves, a network of nerves are presenting. And coming to the next, the last one is the reproductive system. Next, coming to the reproduction. So here reproduction, sexes are separate or united. The sexes are separated are united. Separated or united, that means separated means if both male and female are separately presenting, or united means these are bisexual forms. And here it is taken place fertilization. The fertilization is external or internal. External or an internal. It may be an external or an internal. External means outside the body. If it is taken place, we can call it as an external fertilization. If it is taken place inside the body, we can call it as an internal fertilization. And the development, here the development may be a direct, or an indirect. So here indirect will shows several larval stages. So here it shows the tauronoro larva stage. Toronaria larval stages. Toronaria larval stages. Toronoro larval stages. It shows here a toronoral larval stages. A toronorial, the toronorial larval stages, it is taken place. So here indirect will show several larval forms that are a toronorial larval stages. This is the type of the reproduction where it is either separately they are presenting or united. If united means it shows a bisexual or the hermaphrodite organisms, and if it is external fertilization or it may be an internal, and the development will show an indirect or a direct. Indirect means it shows several larval forms. So these are the, and coming to the examples of these here, the examples of these a phylum, that is having belganoglasses. Belganoglasses are the examples that we will discuss the examples of this the phylum Hemichordates. Here an example, if you see in here, the examples for the Hemichordates are the belganoglasses, sacoglasses, and also the cephalodiscus. So these are the examples where they can take place. Here you are having only one file, that means here there is no classes. Here classes are absent, but here examples are one is the belganoglasses, otherwise you can call as a tongueworm. It is also called as a tongueworm. It is also called as the tongueworm. And the second one is the sacoglasses, and the third one is the cephalodiscus. So these are the examples where it takes place in the belgano, that is a phylum Hemichordates. Next, coming to the next one, that is Chordates. Now we will discuss the Chordates. Next, coming to the Chordates. So here the chordates, these are the, it is the second largest phylum, the phylum in animal kingdom, animal kingdom, second largest the phylum in animal kingdom. So here in animal kingdom, first largest is the phylum Arthropoda, and the second largest in invertebrates, the second largest is molluscans. But overall, if you take in overall, if you see in animal kingdom, which is the second largest phylum, means here it is the chordates or vertebrates, or the second largest phylum present in animal kingdom. And if you see the second largest invertebrate phylum is the molluscans. So here it is a second largest, and it occupies various habitats, such as the marine, fresh, aquatic, terrestrial, and also the air. Here aquatic means here both marine as well as freshwater forms, and also the terrestrial and the land forms, and also they are present in the air. So these are present in all on the earth surface, that means these are present in all habitat, these are presenting. And these will shows the characters of these shows the characters of prechordates, and also the higher chordates, higher chordate characters, higher chordate characters. But if you see externally, there is no resemblance of these organisms, but we are having a common characters are the common ancestral characters are presenting in the when you show the here a fundamental characters are a diagnostic characters. So here externally that means it shows the characters of pre-chordates. Pre-chordates means otherwise you can call them as a proto-chordates. A chordates. So proto-chordate means first formed chordates such as ascidians and amphioxys. These are the first formed where here the ascidians and the amphioxys. So these are the primitive chords where here a higher chordates will show the species, amphibians, reptiles, aves and mammals. Here these are the higher chordate characters where it shows a primitive proto-chordate characters as well as higher chordate characters, but externally when these are shown here, externally there is no externally there is no resemblance. There is no resemblance, but shows a common characters. But shows some common characters called as diagnostic characters. Diagnostic are the fundamental characters. That means these organisms will show the externally they does not having any resemblance, but some source will show a common characters are shown. That common characters we can call them as the diagnostic characters. We can call them as the diagnostic characters, or otherwise you can call them as the fundamental characters. So there are 8 fundamental characters are presenting. So what are that means? If we see here, first one, the presence of a notochord or chordodorsalis. The presence of first one is the presence of a notochord. Presence of a notochord or chordodorsalis or chordodorsalis. So here a presence of a notochord. Here what is a notochord means? It is a long rod, a stiff rod like a structure which is presenting above the an elementary canal and below the a narrow cord it is presenting. So such type of we can call as the notochord or chordodorsalis. So what are that will be discussed one by one. It is a rod stiff like supporting is called as the notochord is called as the notochord. So here it is a rod, a stiff like supporting which is giving so that rod stiff like support which is giving we can call as the notochord, which is presenting above the elementary canal and below the narrow cord. It is present above the elementary canal and below the narrow cord, below the narrow cord. So such part we can call as the first one, the presence of a notochord or a chordodorsalis, or it is a rod, a stiff rod-like structure which is giving supporting. So that is called as a notochord. In these vertebrates, that notochord is replaced by the vertebral column. It is present in at some stage of a life history, that is in embryonic stage. This is presenting. That means it is present in at some stage of life history. That means at some stage of life history it is presenting, where it is replaced by a vertebral column, is replaced by the vertebral column. That means in embryonic stage it is presenting when it becomes adult. That means when they becomes that is when the deliberation is taken place here, it is replaced by the vertebral column, it is replacing. So such type is called as rod, which is giving a stiff rod like a supporting, which is giving, we can call that as a notochord, where it is presenting at the stage of a life history. That means at one stage of life history it is presenting. So it is called as the one of the fundamental characters. Next, coming to the second one, that is the presence of a nerve cord. And next one is the presence of dorsal, presence of a ventral heart. And so these one by one will be discussed now. So next, coming to the presence of dorsal tubular narrow cord. The second one, the presence of dorsal tubular narrow cord. So here this dorsal tubular narrow cord, which is presenting, it is presenting here. It consists of a dorsal tubular. It consists of dorsal tubular and narrow cord, which is presenting, which is present above the notochord, from anterior, from present notochord, from anterior to posterior region, The anterior region, the anterior part which is presenting develops the anterior part, the anterior region develops into a brain, and the posterior part develops posterior part develops into spinal cord extending from up to the posterior region of spinal cord, extended up to posterior region, Next, third one, the presence of pharyngeal gill slits. The pharyngeal gill slits. The presence of the pharyngeal gills. That means the presence of the pharyngeal, that means the presence of gill slits in the pharyngeal regions called as visceral slits. Here a presence of the gill slits in the pharynx region, pharynx region called as visceral slits. Called as visceral slits. These are present at one stage of the. These are present at some stage of life history. That means at some embryonic stages, at some stages these are presenting, that are called as the pharyngeal gill slits, where here these pharyngeal gill slits develops into lungs in higher vertebrates, which helpful for the exchanging of gases. Next one is the presence of ventral heart. The presence of ventral heart. So here the presence of on the ventral side, it consists of a heart is presenting on the heart is presenting on the ventral side of the alimentary canal of the body cavity. It is presenting, where here on the ventral side that heart is presenting, and here respiratory pigment which is presenting. Here it is having the hemoglobin, which has that is a respiratory pigment. So here the presence of the heart on the ventral side, ventral side of the alimentary canal of the alimentary canal, and also here the blood is colored, and respiratory pigment hemoglobin is an respiratory pigment, pigment. So here the hemoglobin is an respiratory pigment. It is an respiratory pigment, hemoglobin. It is colored due to the presence of hemoglobin, which is dissolved in water. Here it gives a red color to the chordates or vertebrates. Next, coming to the, here we will having postal anal tail. Here on the posterior part will having a tail will be presenting at the anus region. So we can call that as a postal anal tail. That is fourth one. Next, coming presence of postal anal tail. So here the presence of in the posterior region, in the posterior region, it consists of the postal region will consist of tail. Consist of tail in the anal region, in the anus, in the anal region. That means on the posterior side, the posterior region will having the tail is presenting, where anus is presenting at that region. Here will consist of the presence of a postal anal tail is presenting. It is also one of the characters that will be replaced. Here in humans, here tail is absenting. So during evolution, here tail will be reduces. Next, coming to the sixth one, here it shows that these are the bilateral symmetry, bilateral symmetry. Bilateral symmetry means here when you cut the organism in only one vertical plane, it here when you cut the organism in only one vertical plane, getting of two identical hulls are producing. So it is also one of the character, that is fundamental characters present in a vertebrates, that is a bilateral symmetry. That means when you cut the organism in only one vertical plane, we are able to getting two identical hulls are produces. Next, the seventh one, here it consists of a body wall. Here the body wall. Here body wall will shows they are a triploblastic. These are a triploblastic and organisms. Here triploblastic means having a three germ layers are presenting. It will consist of three germ layers are presenting. One is ectoderm, ectomeso and endoderm. So we will having three structures are presenting. One is outer ectoderm, middle mesoderm and inner endoderm, where we will having three germ layers are presenting. So these we can call them as a triploblastic and organisms. And coming to the last functional, that is here it shows body cavity. A cavity. Here the body cavity, here it shows eucoelomates. These are eucoelomates. Eucoelomates means having a true coelom is presenting between the body wall. For example, if you take this is the body wall and alimentary canal. Here it shows that so here this is called as the coelom. So here this is an alimentary canal, and this is a body wall. So in between this we can call this as we can call as the coeloms, where we are having a true coelom, and also here the gastric endodermic. That means here it is the end, that is it is consisting of the splitting of the mesoderm is taken place. So here the splitting of the endodermic, splitting of the epidermal, the gastric derms. It is a splitting of a gastric epidermic gastric derm. So here will shows an enterocoelomic will shows here. These are an enterocoelomic. So here will having a true cavity is presenting. So we can call them as an eucoelomates. So these are the 8 fundamental characters are diagnostic characters, where they are presenting from primitive chordates to the higher chordates, such as one is the presence of dorsal narrow chord, a tubular ventral narrow chord, that is a notochord, narrow chord, a tubular, that is the pharyngeal gill slits, ventral heart, postal anal tail, and also the bilateral body wall, and also a body cavity. So these are the 8 fundamental characters where they are present in all chordates. And here the classification, here chordates are classified into 3 types. What are that means? Urochordates, cephalochordates, subphylum. These are the chordum phylum differentiated into 3 types. That is subphylum urochordates, subphylum cephalochordates, subphylum vertebrata. So what are that? That will be discussed in the next class. That will discuss in the next class.